I think there's a live channel running.
Okay.
Just for the fun and stuff, but
This is my first
like
shot
that's
of
going on.
alcohol since the last time we did a show, and that was the first shot of alcohol in like a decade.
I think I've maybe had a shot of alcohol or two since then. Not much. We do this for them, though, I guess. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Is that what we're doing? Is it Shots Across the
Altruistic.
Dow, another live or not live episode? It's a live.
To be
not live.
determined.
To be determined. That's right.
TBD.
And we just shot brandy, and that actually was, I've never had brandy before.
Made my eye
Wasn't
closed.
bad.
It is actually very tasty. I'm so used to whiskey, and I love whiskey, but
Might be a brandy man.
a brandy man. Oh God, we're all gonna get saucy here in a second.
Brandy, you're sweet girl. What a fine wife you would be. I don't know if that's the exact lyrics.
No,
But I know my wife, my love, my lady is a sea.
I remember that song, but I don't remember it from the radio. I remember it from Guardians of the Galaxy
Oh,
number 2.
I had a cousin named Brandy, and one day I was in Metairie visiting her, and the song came on, and I just was like, God, I bet you fucking hate when people bring this song up.
Yeah. Or she might love it. I don't know. Are we going? We're going?
Yes, we're going. This
Yeah.
is Shots Across the Dow. The idea of Shots Across the Dow is we are a collaborative effort of guys who are just trying to figure out their way through the investment world. And unlike other people making their way through the investment world, we want other people to understand what's going on through the investment world because we'd like everybody doing good investment-wise.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely like a collection point of all of our adventures from the lower level of the investment pool.
Yes.
Yeah, we are not professionals.
Gotcha.
No,
At
no.
all.
You should not pay me to tell you where to invest.
No, not at all. Maybe, we could talk to you about your bowel functions.
That's it.
Right.
And what we noticed while getting into the investment world is we noticed that a bunch of other sites and channels had a bunch of people who were just talking about their successes, how great they were, how amazing they were at this stuff, and how they were knowledgeable and how great they were at all kinds of amazing things. And we just didn't think it was going to be, that's not how it really is. There's a lot of failure. There's a lot of, I tried this and I sucked at it. And we don't want people to have to go through that. We don't want people to have to figure out on their own what sucks and what the losses are. And so you can learn from us.
Mm-hmm.
Live vicariously through our mistakes.
This is the way.
That's right. And so I guess we'll start off by introducing ourselves. Nate, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. My name's Nate. I'm a nurse. I've been doing nursing work for about 8 years and got pulled into the investment world when I started to look at my retirement account and got real sad about it. So anyway, about 2017, started looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that. Started to learn and just acquire at that point in time. And that's pretty much been it. Just been trying to keep my ear to the ground for different investments and different cryptocurrencies that pique my interest, which the more I look, the less I want. And that's pretty much it.
My name's Derek, and I'm a nurse as well. I've been a nurse for 2 years. I never invested in anything because I was always poor. And then the pandemic is when I also started my nursing career. And with my hazard pay, I decided to start small-time investing, and I did okay. And then I got into crypto beginning of 2021, I guess. And really didn't understand gas prices and lost about $2,000 altogether in gas prices, and that made me start paying attention to that more. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I didn't set any base rate, and gas prices rose while I was sleeping and dropped while I was awake.
That's definitely the first mistake we could talk about because that was easily where I lost the most money.
Yeah.
Getting into crypto.
Also, jacked around with NFTs that weren't worth it in the long run because of gas prices.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody that doesn't know what gas prices are, that if you're listening, gas is like whenever it's a transaction fee for conducting business on the Ethereum or Polygon blockchain. Anyway.
Exactly. Think of it kind of like a credit card fee. Except credit card fees can be a couple of dollars. Sometimes if you're buying Ticketmaster, things like that, it can be $5 or $10 if they're really extorting you. But the gas prices on Ethereum can sometimes be, what was it, 50, 75 bucks, maybe even 100.
Oh, dude, more than that. There have been times where I had the gas fee was definitely more than what I was trading.
Yes, and if you get into crypto, you're going to have the exchange that you buy things from, but then you're going to have your wallet, and you're going to have to move it from the exchange to a wallet, and you might transport two different things, and so now you're dealing with 2 or 3 different gas fee charges. And so if your gas fee is $50 and you're having to move it between 2 or 3 places, now you're talking about $150.
Yeah.
And that's the first mistake I made too. Lost a lot of money. Because I bought Ethereum and didn't realize that I had to, like, I might have wanted to buy another cryptocurrency called Polygon-O-Matic, and didn't realize I was going to have to pay those gas fees making those changes.
Mm-hmm. But before we get too far, man, who are you?
Hi, I'm Bruce. Bruce Plochet. I'm a counselor, and like these guys, I didn't get into investment until later on in life because I didn't think I could afford it. I was always dealing with debt. My first goal was trying to whittle down credit card debts where I was paying 24% interest. I've always been pretty good at numbers and interest rates, and so looking at the stock market or other investments and seeing that the return was 0.75% or 2%, I would kind of figure out that it would be more beneficial for me to work on my debts than it was to actually make investments, even if the return was 4 or 5%. I was able to get my credit card debts down, kind of consolidated a lot, and I got it to where the only thing I had was maybe a house loan that had 2% interest or things like that. And that's whenever I started to get into cryptocurrency. And what really attracted me to it was the return on investment is so much higher than traditional investments that it made it finally worth it to me. Because even with a house loan of 2%, it kind of makes more sense to try to pay off your house loan than to buy into stocks where you might only get 2 or 3% or return on investment. But whenever you start talking about cryptocurrencies where you're talking about 15, 20% return on investments a year, it just made so much more sense for me to be able to put some money into that.
Sorry.
Gotcha.
Brandy.
And so we
cheers.
Yeah, we do want to talk about investments. The three of us have very much gotten into cryptocurrency because that's where the return on investment usually is. Past few months it's been a little sketchy. Of course, so is pretty much everything in the economy. And so we are very crypto heavy, but we do want to be very well rounded and talk about investments as a whole.
Yeah, you got to diversify.
Yeah, but I don't know much about anything else.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not right now. But, I was talking about all that and return on investment and things like that. Whenever we look at a week like what's going on right now, I gotta say, man, it's scary business. And it's only scary because the prices have gone down. I remember looking back at the portfolio probably at the beginning of 2021 and stuff like that. Especially close to the time when Cardano, which is one of the blockchains out there right now, when Cardano was about to open their smart contracts and they had a lot of hype and they went up to $3. Man, what are we at? 96 cents today?
96 cents.
Yeah.
I wish I had some money to put into that right now because I totally would.
Yeah. But it's those kind of things that kind of, it's a deflated market right now. Not deflated, I don't want to use that term. It's just really sad. It's blood red out there.
It is. Well, and actually, so that kind of gets into what attracts you to cryptocurrency. Like,
I'll talk about my experience first on there. Like, what attracts me to it is a lot of things, and I could probably spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe even longer, discussing all the neat intricacies that I think about that. I think one, our financial system is it favors a certain percentage of the population. And it's an unfair system. It's not transparent. Interest rates can change at the whim of, your administrators in the upper office and things like that. And us on the ground level, we're nurses. I can guarantee you that we don't make any kind of pay that reflects what, say, our CEOs make and things like that because of crony capitalism and so on and so forth. Anyway, before I diverge onto that.
Absolutely.
So blockchain technology is what brings me into the crypto space. And blockchain technology is essentially like a transparent and public ledger where transactions can be made, whether they're financial transactions or information transactions. And they are logged and categorized in public information. And it kind of lays the groundwork for a new financial system. So if we're talking about things like Bitcoin, if we're going to relate Bitcoin to gold, we buy gold for whenever the dollar is going to shit, which it's going to shit. We have something that still retains value as the buying power of the dollar goes away. So that really brings it into it's the transparency, it's the ability to propagate more money for yourself.
Nice.
I'm all in on Cardano. The reason why I'm all in there is because it makes more of itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whenever it's low, it keeps making more of itself. And through staking functions and things like that. So I can't get those interest rates, those kind of staking rewards at those interest rates at any traditional bank.
Absolutely. So for anybody that's not
can't do it. You just can't fucking do it.
You can't. I mean, so basically, you can go onto a crypto exchange right now, and you can stake. So if you buy, like, let's say $1,000 worth of USDC, you can go onto a company like BlockFi, and you can stake that and make 8% interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go to a bank, you might be offered 0.5%, 1%. Again, my house loan is 2%. And so it made more sense to pay off the house loan. But if you go stake that money for 8% interest, and that's safe. That's not so. Stablecoin doesn't fluctuate with the rest of the market. It stays at $1. So if I buy $1,000 of stablecoins, it will stay at that $1,000, but I'll earn that 8% interest, and that's rates that usually only the wealthy elite can afford to get. And so it brings the interest rates that the wealthy elite are usually able to make to the common people.
Why did
anything on that? Yeah. Let me hear it.
Yeah, no, I got so I feel like I was late and early to the crypto game, but I lost faith in the US dollar back in probably 2008 when I started learning about notes and certificates and going off the gold and silver standard a long time ago. And the US dollar's value comes from faith, and that's ridiculous to me. So that's why I went for broke and just got out of the system for a while. I spent 10 years trying to escape the setup of the American system. I did a pretty good job at it because in 2019 I went to go get a car, and when they ran a credit check, I didn't have bad credit. I just was considered a ghost, like I didn't exist in the system. If it wasn't for an outrageous medical bill, I would not exist in the system, which is really weird. The guy at the dealership said he was pretty impressed with that, especially since I attempted it and succeeded. So crypto, Nate, I came in to visit, and I was hanging out at Nate and Alicia's, and we started discussing crypto. And I'd already been aware of Bitcoin, but I thought it was a fad because that was back in 2011, 2012. And I just kind of brushed it aside because I thought of the dot-com bust, and then it just seemed like another internet fad. And then apparently during the pandemic, a lot of people started paying attention to it, started going up, and I looked at from when I first heard about Bitcoin, and it was less than $10, and seeing where it was at in the market at that time, I decided to start playing around with that. It made more sense for me to earn capital that way, especially starting off with what would be considered a low amount of investment money. And then honestly, I just want to fucking make money.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, is we live in a capitalist society, and there's haves and have-nots, and I want to be able to pay my bills and fix my car and not have to look on YouTube to repair things. I want to afford those, and I will. I've kind of backed off of crypto for a little bit, or any investments, because of the move, and seeing the prices fluctuate so much. I guess trying to hit it on a low note, which I feel like we're at right now.
That's where we're at. For sure.
Definitely got into crypto though, because it made more sense to make money off of that than the other faith-based system I had no more faith in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for me, it was definitely peer pressure. So Nate is apparently the head vampire. So if you're one of those lib kids that wants to kill the crypto people, take out Nate, and I guess the rest of us will fall because we're connected there.
We really changed the Discord group and all the crypto.
We did it, and so Nate has always been somebody that likes to help out the people around him. And
pick my nose.
yeah, sorry. And so I mean, it'd be like things like wellness groups, like health wellness groups, right? And so when you and Justin, our friend Justin, talked about investment group, the social aspect is what drew me in at first. So we have that Wall Street Couillons, which is a cool group if anybody wants to look into that. But and so that drew me in, and then I started learning about crypto, which I knew a little bit about it because I have two libertarian brothers who, can be annoying. But and so at first same thing. I thought it was kind of BS. I thought it was kind of whatever. But I guess the thing I'd like to hit on is Nate said it, and I hate to. Usually with politicians, I hate it whenever they just talk crap about their opponent as opposed to talking up themselves. So I hate this stance, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Is I've never been happy with the way the financial global economy is set up. I'm not happy with the way the traditional banking system is set up. I don't think that it's set up to help out the common person.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
SWAT team. Yeah. What's that the roof? And the thing is that I'm seeing a lot of stuff on the internet. The things I'm seeing lately is it's a lot of people, a lot of my friends who have always had that view of being against the traditional system, and they've hated it ever since we've been on social media. All they do is complain about it. They're the ones who are not complaining about cryptocurrency. And it is weird calling cryptocurrency a revolution, but it really is. And the revolution is cryptocurrency versus the traditional banking system, the corrupt elite banking system. And so one of the trends I've been seeing lately is I've been seeing a lot of people who are attacking crypto. And so, I mean, there's really two sides. There's the traditional banking system, there's crypto, and then you can stay neutral. But it's just weird to me to be attacking crypto because that's kind of like supporting the traditional banking system. And I know cryptocurrency has a lot of, especially Bitcoin. So when we say cryptocurrency, and Nate hit on this too, there's so many different cryptocurrencies, right? So Bitcoin is a currency, right? I mean, it's got the blockchain thing, but it's set up to be that digital gold. The other things like Cardano that we really like is a separate system. I mean, they have cryptocurrencies that are trying to be the next Google, where it's a decentralized. So decentralized means there's no controlling agency. So there's a cryptocurrency that's trying to be the decentralized internet. There's a cryptocurrency that's trying to be the decentralized Spotify, or the decentralized Facebook. And so this is more than just currency. But sticking to the currency part, I know that there's things that need to be improved with Bitcoin. There's things that's weak at, but it's better than the traditional banking system. And I think the people that are against it, I think that they get stuck in this America mindset where they think of things from only an American standpoint. And it's globally, the US dollar and the banking system has a stranglehold over other countries that aren't as developed as the United States. And they need to get out of that system. And no, cryptocurrency isn't perfect, but it's at least better. And the other one is the project that we are all into is Cardano. I love that Cardano does so much in Africa.
Wants to do.
Wants to do, exactly. And so it's looking to improve the place. And so even if I lose money putting into it, I feel like it's at least helping infrastructure in other places. So yeah, I very much like that aspect of it.
Yeah, but it's a really unsettling place right now.
Yeah.
And you gotta have you've got to have some grit to stay through there, or just ignore your portfolio, for months and months
Years.
and months and years at a time. Because when you have a time like this, that's so uncertain with everything that's going on.
When we're not the only ones investing in it to make money, so then you have the well side of things where you have extremely wealthy, not rich, wealthy people investing in it to where it's short-term investment for the short-term huge payoff they get because they can afford to dump, $500,000 into Bitcoin or $1 million into Bitcoin or Ethereum. And with that, what it does is people like us, average humans, yeah,
I'm fidgety.
like something's happening.
I did. That was my bad. I'm fidgety nervous.
So with that, what it does is that's where we have these fluctuations of we're seeing huge gains, but we want long-term investment, and then you have whales come in and they're looking for the short-term huge gain, and it scares regular folks from investing back into it because of the pullout when it hits, a 10 to 50% to 300%. Yeah, like their pullout gain much stronger than most of my friends with children.
Yes.
So that's a scary side of it, but I think also it reflects the stock market where you see a game like that sort of played. But with crypto, it's so new and different that it makes it easier for extremely wealthy people to profit more than average.
They do harvest retail traders a lot when things get busy.
Still have more faith in it than the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, you're right about that. We're not all money launderers.
Yeah, that's what's really funny. I find it really funny that a lot of politicians who probably are investing in crypto, because more politicians invest in crypto than we're aware of, the same people making policy against it, are investing $15,000 into Doge, which is hilarious. So, damn, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about shit coins.
Oh, that's a big rabbit hole. I don't know if we're ready for that rabbit hole.
I think the creator of Doge would tell you it's a shit coin, but then like enthusiasts for Doge believe in it. But I think it's like anyone, they're wanting to believe in something that's new and different from a system that didn't really work for them or the rest of the poor of the world. We're talking about a country that overthrew a fucking democracy in South America for a banana guy to make millions of dollars. So it can't really have much faith in that.
Yeah. Right. And that is one of the big things that I see that's kind of one of the lies that gets said about crypto a lot is that it's for money laundering. But then there is story. It's like every week there's another story about somebody who got busted because they were able to track through the blockchain and through ledgers. Yeah. So
it's easier to use art to launder money. Like,
yes,
it's much easier to use pieces of art to launder money at this point than crypto. So 10 or 15 years from now, that's the only thing that scares me about crypto is the transparency of it. Is, do I really want people knowing exactly where all my money goes, even though it's not into nefarious areas, because then an algorithm can be used to shape what I buy? But I also have a credit Kroger rewards card. I got a Walmart rewards card. I'm buying shit from Amazon. So it's already being tracked anyways. But there's a level of transparency that is a little bit scary when it comes to crypto.
All users on the network are subject to that same transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically every time a transaction's made on the blockchain, it's there. There's no avoiding it. You can see the wallet address that made that move and exactly what move they made. And so now there are some cryptocurrencies that are secret, like Monero would be one that you can't track. But as far as Bitcoin, that is one of the most trackable currencies. And you can look up all the people who shut down the
pipeline.
Valdez pipeline. Was that what was called
the pipeline?
We'll call it the pipeline, right? There's you guys probably know. And so yeah, they were able to track them through.
We should probably research more, but we also shoot from the hip.
We do. Just get used to that. That's how we are. Yeah. If you're going for polish, that's not going to be this place. So what? Okay, so I mean, what would you guys say are the big reasons why the market's tanked right now?
I'll be honest, because we do shoot from the hip. I haven't looked at any other things with Jerome Powell or anything like that, or whatever those fucktards are saying, because, pardon my language, my français. But
Distinct.
I'm pretty sure that Ukraine and Russia have a lot to do with the sketchiness of literally everything.
Right now, yeah.
Can we go there?
From Japan all the way back to Japan.
Can we go there?
I would
Ukraine?
love to go.
Let's go there.
I
yeah.
physically want to avoid it right now, but yes, let's talk about
Okay.
it.
Ukraine.
Yeah, well, Ukraine's actually accepting Bitcoin, like, to help with what's going on over there. They're moving to use Bitcoin nationally, I believe, which that's going to affect the price of Bitcoin. But it could help Ukraine out.
They're talking about using that as like a legal tender,
Yeah, I believe so.
but not like the tender.
Let me bring up my
Yeah.
notes.
And while you're looking that up, have we even figured out what's going over there? Because the last I looked, we're not even getting the information as to what.
So
So
It's
a lot of it
precipitated.
is like Twitter and TikTok. You can get on there and they'll have people. That's a good place to look for news. Is the actual like folks living there will post on social media. So that's one of the few benefits of social media. But so a lot of what's going on too is with Russia being a huge resource for natural gases and oil, and then you look at countries that are buying from that. They're more likely, this is me shooting from the hip, to bend to what Russia wants as opposed to what Ukraine wants. And this is nothing against the people of Ukraine, but on a global economic scale, what does Ukraine offer in the world, in the U.S. economy or other economies? And when I say economies, I mean like wealthy elite making money off of these systems. It would be nothing. They offer nothing, whereas Russia can, which we're seeing right now with the price of oil going up, is based on Russia's supply of oil. Like I think the U.S. right now has bought, let's see.
well, I know that.
So across 2021, between 12 million and 26 million barrels of crude oil and petroleum from Russia every month for us. Which, so like our daddy Dick for oil before that we were stuck in Saudi Arabia. Now we have Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we're not the only country. You got to think about countries that heavily rely on Russia. So they're going to support or be very Switzerland-esque with how they treat the situation with Ukraine and Russia.
Gotcha. I remember the last I was looking, the American media was trying to figure out exactly what the U.S. found that felt like there was some provocation happening. And that
You mean
information.
with Russian troops setting up at the border and playing war games?
Yeah. And there was something I think the current administration was saying something along the lines of that they had found some intel, but they wouldn't release exactly what the intel was. And so it's kind of like all this is kind of happening, and we're being told that hey, we've had this info, we have this info, almost like weapons of mass destruction kind of info, but it's not being released exactly what that info was that is leading to us believing that there's that provocation.
Well,
that was the last I read.
Well, I mean, I've been keeping up with this pretty much daily, like several times a day over a while, and one of the reasons is because I'm like really anxious, and I'm anxious because this is like leading up to a possible world level conflict.
Yes.
Okay, and so what I've gathered, they're American and West media, we'll say West media, because this considers, NATO and Canada and pretty much everybody else, and most of the news sources that you see outside of Russia are saying that Russia is trying to set up a false flag operation to create a pretext to go to war. And I say that because it's quoted on literally every news source I come across, almost word for word. And so with that, they're pretty much saying that Russia is going to stage something within the Ukraine to lead to an invasion, to create a
Gotcha.
scenario like a 9/11
Okay, gotcha.
in the Ukraine.
Let's
And here-
Allegedly.
Let's-
Allegedly.
All right. So you bring in 9/11 to it. What do you mean by that, sir?
Okay, but so what I mean is that after, well, I don't want to go too on a tangent
We
about
mean
9/11.
9/11 level event, not so much that.
No, 9/11. Directly after it, we went to war in Afghanistan. And
Well,
9/11 the
9/11
second time.
It's
Yeah.
weird that it occurred the day after it was announced that trillions couldn't be accounted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's the same kind of thing going on. Now on the other side of the coin is that Russia is saying the exact same thing, that America and Western media is driving
Them to
the
invade.
effort, not really them to invade. Like Russia says that we're just setting up troops and running exercises and all these different like doomsday scenarios and launching nukes and doing all this crap, basically just flexing against the whole world. But they don't have any plans to actually invade. But everybody else in the world, Germany, France, America, Canada, anybody else who's been at the National Defense Summit that happened like 2 or 3 days ago, and the president of Ukraine, they're all just like, hey, it really looks like you want to shit on us, so.
It's
what's
almost
going
like
on?
the USSR is trying to reform.
Yeah, I
itself.
mean, the Ukraine hasn't even recovered from that. I mean, they had like decades upon decades of having their resources moved into mainland Russia, and then yeah,
All that is Western Ukraine or Eastern Ukraine, which is all Russian-speaking territory.
yes,
But on top of that, it really has a lot to do with NATO, because as of right now, NATO consists of like most of Europe, the North America, Canada, and then there's no really other military powers outside of those groups except for Russia and China. And Russia and China have to kind of play ball with each other if they want to survive this event.
Well, and Ukraine is, I think, one of the last nations separating Russia from NATO territory. And I was wrong. Ukraine does offer natural resources in
It's
abundance.
Eastern
Yes.
Ukraine.
Yeah. So
It's like iron, coal, and a bunch of other shit.
So it's coal, iron ore, natural gas, manganese, salt, oil, graphite, sulfur, kaolin, titanium, nickel, magnesium, timber, and mercury all could benefit Russia instead of the nation of Ukraine
They
itself.
also have Crimea, which is a peninsula in the middle of the Black Sea. I think it's the Black Sea. I don't really know. Don't quote me on that. I'm a nerd, not a geographer. But those are peninsulas are usually really good strategic positions for
yeah.
I know
taking
South
control of
Korea.
things.
South Korea worked out for us in the war against communism. So
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we make all those jokes in the U.S. about how that country's got some oil that needs some freedom. I wonder what the Russian equivalency of that would be, because apparently they're probably saying that about the Ukraine.
all that's just got people really, really sketched out because, a lot of our family members are still alive from World War II. Like my grandfather, he's 94, he's still alive and can tell you everything that he went through. And that stuff is still fresh, and it's especially fresh for Europeans after that. So people are really sketchy. I know that Ukraine is trying to join NATO. Russia's like, hell no, because after that, then we won't have,
Yeah.
just.
there's no barrier between them and NATO forces.
Yeah. Hold on, I want to back this up because, I watched a TikTok video because Vladimir Putin's got a TikTok video, and
Does he have an account?
He
Is
has
it
an
just
account,
him
yeah.
shirtless
Yeah.
all the time?
no,
Yeah,
no, but they were talking, and he said, Russia.
It's weird that a former KGB
Yeah.
agent's got a fucking TikTok account.
He does. And
I wonder what
this
he
is-
watches though. Like, does he have cats and scary videos that pop up on his feed, or is it just like
Maybe while he's
people
taking a
crying
poop,
in other
I don't-
nations?
I don't know.
Goes on the
But
blockchain.
he said
Workout videos?
that Russia cannot compete with NATO, with the strength of NATO, but we've got nukes.
Wow.
I feel
Okay.
like I honestly feel like there's the U.S. would be the second country or nation in the world to use nukes, and Russia would be the first, and then China's just gonna
Take Taiwan.
well.
Well, now that
China's about a long game where not everything's destroyed physically, but on an economic scale, a political scale, they can destroy nations with much more ease.
Well-
America's too divided because social media has changed our political spectrum so much we can't actually unite as one.
No, but that's actually a very good point, though. In fact, I was reading a report about how nowadays it is actually more effective to wage economic war than it is to wage actual war. I mean, and first off, no, I'm not minimizing the lives of soldiers dying in foreign wars because we don't want anybody dying, any life dying.
Well, if you
in war.
destroy a nation and then make it uninhabitable, it makes no money for you. But if you can destroy a nation's spirit,
Absolutely. I mean, and so and there's economic warfare being waged on a regular basis.
it's almost as if making a country rely on you to buy a lot of things cheap and then stop supplying those cheap things. You can break them economically enough to step in and do what you want. Also, China, kudos on buying property through great legal real estate deals. Buying up treasury bonds and creating a level of power in our own nation that we don't even have.
I know. Talk about the NBA, yeah.
Or Marvel, or Disney, succumbing to the will. South Park, strangely enough, is the only thing that I can respect anymore because they straight up told China to suck their fucking asshole.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see that there's so many examples of just the Star Wars posters in Disney where they minimize the people of color on the posters because they didn't want minorities on the posters in China.
Wait, are you telling me China's racist?
Are they?
First off, I'm insinuating.
Yeah.
Second,
how can they be racist?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, they also killed off other ethnic groups in their own country because they weren't good enough to be Chinese.
Yeah, I'm the diplomatic one of the groups. I'm just insinuating.
I mean, they were
Also, I don't hate Chinese people. I do
throw-
hate most governments of the world.
No,
I'm
and
not a
that's
fan
it.
of authority.
Yeah, and so when we talk about China, we definitely don't talk about Chinese people. We're talking more about CCP
Yeah.
in particular.
A
Absolutely.
lot of followers of Mao.
Yeah, it's scary stuff. It's absolutely. And what I've learned through crypto, and I think a lot of crypto people would disagree with me with this, is so I'm what they call it, and I think you two guys are too. We're long time hodlers. And by that we mean that we don't like to trade day in and day out. We don't even like to trade monthly. We like to buy something and hold on to it and watch that value go up.
Cap tax is expensive.
Absolutely. And when you're looking at the crypto market and you start getting on YouTube, you start getting on Spotify, listening to podcasts, you'll see all these people giving numbers, right? Analytics. And to me, those don't amount to much as much as the economy, as much as what's happening globally, the news. And so our show, we want to bring you projects. We want to talk to you about, try to educate you on what's happening with crypto and projects and different cryptocurrencies. But we also want to talk about the global events that are affecting the prices. And so the reason why we got into Ukraine is because all this stuff that we're talking about is what's negatively impacting the market.
Not much Ukraine as Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll fine tune this program. This is a first go, and it'll get better. We'll have a more laid out outline, I guess. It's just going to improve from here on out. This is a
Work in progress.
a work in progress, and then we just hope to bring you more concise information that educates you on how to invest your money, things occurring globally, and then our own errors.
That's it. We don't want to just make ourselves better. We want to pick everybody up that we can up with us. We want to create a world that nobody has to live like how we're living.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that we're not going to bring opinionated news when we talk about news as much as like facts. Now, we will interject our opinions, and hopefully you can tell the difference between our opinions and the actual news. We don't want to Tucker Carlson you.
No.
Bruh.
That guy. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
let's do the trifecta.
Yeah, let's do
on that one.
it.
No Tucker
Captain
Carlson.
Planet. Yeah.
Yeah. Our powers combined
I mean, that's
will
it.
not manipulate you.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I think most people are starting to get to where they can see through a lot of the minutia that's being put out. There's definitely a lot of minutia that's being put out about cryptocurrency, and so I do think that we tend to have views that don't fit a lot of the normal investment people kind of views, and so I hope that means that we can connect with a lot of people who might not be. I want to connect with more progressive people. I feel like I'm a very progressive person. I want to be able to connect. I think investment has always been considered kind of a right-wing thing, and so
No, there's well, okay.
I mean, it's
so
capitalist as fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think when you get into right now, progressive or left and right are different from old left and right. So old left and right, both parties invested, both parties went to the same party.
conservative progressive might be a better
Yeah.
paradigm. Then.
So with that, I think now with younger generations, especially growing up in a situation created by elder generations where, a person's own value as far as money goes is different in a younger generation as opposed to an older generation coming up where they didn't have to work unpaid internships. They could be progressive or conservative, but they were getting paid what was their value for the job they did. Whereas now, our generation, the generation after us, are coming in or have been in situations for a long time where this older generation that will never retire had it made for themselves, learn how to make it even better for themselves, but take a huge dump on everybody coming in after them. You got to work a 2-year unpaid internship to go into a job that will never financially move up.
Yeah.
And I think where I differ a little bit is I tend to be a capitalist, but I use that definition differently because I think competition is what should define capitalism, and the thing that's gotten away from it is America's become so corporate that you can't find differences. It's like you almost everything is so
a monopoly
homogenized.
has occurred.
Monopoly. It's so homogenized that you can only find these low-wage jobs, and they're all corporations, and they're all homogenous, and they're not different. And whereas back in the day, it used to be mom and pop shops, there were competition. You could actually have businesses competing with different wages. And absolutely. So it's I think
it used to be also minimum wage came close enough to matching the cost of living that people could go work a minimum wage job, and survive. Or there were enough factory jobs to where people could own a home in 15 or 20 years to where now there's not as many of those jobs. Minimum wage has still not increased enough to where somebody doesn't have to work 70 to 80 hours a week to survive.
Yeah.
Man, I can tell you right now that and with all transparency, because I think we should be able to talk about wages. I think we should be open about that stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm a nurse manager at a hospital during a COVID outbreak. I make $36.90 an hour. Okay, $36.90 an hour.
I'm a new nurse and realized I can work night shift and make $2 less than him, and I've only been a nurse for 2 years.
And one of the things that's, if anybody that's in the medical field that's listening or seeing this, hospitalfinances.org, okay? If you work for a nonprofit agency, which is something I found and looked into,
I do
for a
too.
nonprofit agency.
Most hospitals
you
are
can see
nonprofit, actually.
all that information is public information. And so whenever I found out that in 2019 our CEO was making almost $900,000 a year.
Never worked a medical job. Never actually took care of patients.
Yeah. Almost
But
$900,000.
got that MBA.
Mm-hmm. Our lowest paid administrator made $200,000 a year. And a lot of these are from bonuses too. You can see them. You can see that there's bonus wages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
It'd be interesting to have a hospital that
pre-COVID
is funded nurse ran as opposed to physician ran.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there'd be a difference in pay, patient care, cost of care, because you have a group of people
What are
who
you gonna get us fucking?
Yeah.
Fucking
But no, I completely. In fact, this could be a totally different show. But I think sometimes we get caught up in semantics because I think Kabbalists hate that stuff too, and they just use different definitions, and so they would consider that corporatism, right? And so they would hate the corporatists, corporations, and stuff. And yeah, we live in.
Carry on.
Okay, we live in a day and age where CEOs, I mean, they're just making way too much money compared to the rest of the workers. And at some point, we're going to have to do something about that.
Well,
Right.
it'd be awesome to see a change. I have a negative view on the future, so I see 4, maybe 5 election cycles before what we know as democracy ends, and then we have the United States of Amazon, or the United States of Google.
I disagree with you.
Or have you ever read the Man in the High Tower?
Yes.
Okay, so the
have
United
not.
States, the West Coast belongs to Japan.
Yes.
East Coast belongs to Nazi Germany,
yeah.
and then the central part that's very small is like freedom,
Separatist,
sort of.
Yeah.
So I see America turning into, West Coast, portion of it being, Amazon, portion of it being Google, and then the East Coast, the same situation, to where I think our nation's going to be split up into small nation states of
oligarchy.
The West Coast will be Amazon, East Coast will be
Like
Disney.
people are going to
Yeah,
fly
exactly.
a Google emblem
Except there's
on
gonna be
their
a fucking
fucking
war
front porch
between
instead of the
Amazon and
American
Disney in
flag.
California.
I think there's so much common ground there. I think our semantics get in the way. I would love to actually, because the thing is the motto I like to, and I think you guys live by this too, is don't talk about how we need more people like that. Be the person who's going to be like that. And that's kind of one of the dreams that this podcast could have, is that maybe we could actually be a little bit of a beacon that helps that fight against that. But what do you guys predict for the market coming up? Short term, 3 months, a year.
Man, shit.
Yeah.
I'll lead off with this one right now. I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ignore it until Russia gets off of Ukraine's border and business as usual.
I feel like, okay, you get the midterm elections, right? And so I feel like disarray is going to be the theme. And so I feel like the market is either going to be moving sideways, down, up, but staying mostly sideways, probably for the next year or so. I feel like this is going to be, I'm going to say long term. I really feel like if you want to get into crypto, now is a great time, but also don't expect it to be going up anytime soon. You probably have another 3 to 6 months to get into it. So you can watch our videos, kind of hear some of the projects that we like, hear us kind of ramble.
Yeah, I think it's
Stop
going
clicking
bear.
our bottle caps.
I think it's going to go bear for quite a little bit. Don't know how long, don't know that much. But I see a bear market coming real fast. Hopefully we don't enter World War III. Who the fuck knows?
But talking about projects, one thing that we need to let you all know about is that we are working on an NFT project. You'll be able to see it at trashpossums.com, and that we'll be launching sometime in the near future,
I
maybe.
think April.
Hopefully April is what we're looking at.
Closer
We're
to the
compiling
end.
artwork
Oh,
and
we shouldn't have put a date to something.
run it through the thing. I know, right?
Oh,
Every time
man,
we put a date, it goes behind. But you know what? Hey, nurse, therapist, a couple of artists on the team.
Everyone has kids but me.
Yeah, it's true. But we're just kind of those people. We're working class folks trying to make our way through this environment.
Yeah, I mean, the art's awesome. Really cool art. The contract is banging, and so the contracts are banging.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't know anything about that stuff.
And hold on, we're going to shape this piece of fucking putty into something that's more beautiful than what you're seeing right now.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yes, absolutely. And so, in closing thoughts, guys?
Do you want some more brandy?
I'll take a tad bit more.
Say,
We're going to end off on
I
that.
thought I would do a half shot, but
Yeah, let's do
I
let's do a
think I
little
just
bit less
poured-
than you did at the beginning for me.
Roger that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
go for
perfect.
half shot.
So we appreciate
I'm
y'all
sorry.
tuning in.
It's not a half shot.
Come back for more.
Throw it back.
We'll have It's just going to improve every episode, guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we want to thank our guys you can't see in the camera, Matt and Chad.
Mm. It's almost tomato planting season.
Matt opens that fridge like no one was there.
Nice.
Don't forget to eat your fruits and veggies. Don't do drugs and go to school.
7 to 8 hours
safe.
of sleep a night. Hug your loved ones. So yeah, I think we're all fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. It's okay, but it's fun though. We can still